Okay, hey violins. Welcome to part two of your classic Sinfonia lesson. Last couple weeks we covered measures one all the way up to the end here where we had that repeat that went back to the beginning. Today we're going to be looking at 21 all the way up to this next repeat that you can't really also see in your music, but there is a repeat here. So we're covering these three lines and then these two lines of the second page today. So let's go ahead and start off looking at 21. Easy enough, you got one note, right? You've got a B natural here on our G string, second finger. That's it. Accented down bow. And you're good for another four measures because we got the rest of this measure. And then three measures of rest. So we're going to come back in here at the next line where we have this new word we haven't actually seen in our music before. Legato. Legato. So this should automatically be kind of like triggering something in our brains like legato. That sounds like staccato. Remember that word we learned earlier this year, staccato, which means short and separated with space in between the notes, the real kind of choppy bowing. So legato is going to be the opposite of staccato. So staccato means short and separated. Legato means smooth and connected, right? So all of these notes, like they're still going to be the same value. Every single one of these is still, one coordinate, one beat, but they're going to be as close as they possibly can be with as little space in between, right? Not slurred, still separate bowings, but very, very smooth, very like broad bows that just, touch each other, very, very closely. Other thing to notice before we start playing is our dynamic here. The beginning, almost all of this, except with the exception of like these two measures, was like a big loud forte. At here at measure, what measure is this? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, I guess, is where we are at, like for the first time truly ever like very soft mezzo piano, medium soft. So very smooth, very soft bowings. E E E E to A. Make sure when we go to half notes, we're using more bow. Remember, we use less bow for quarter notes, more, and then like slower bows. So fast, 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 more fast bows, slow bow, F sharp, right? So high second finger, and then we have another measure of rest right here. So let's practice doing these like nice slow legato bows together. So very smooth. Okay, we're at measure 29 now. These first couple measures are really easy. It's just a new style of bowing we've kind of got to get used to. Very smooth, very smooth. We're still legato here. You make sure we're kind of keeping the same style without until it tells us differently. We really need to make sure we're kind of playing with the same style. 29, we're still mezzo forte. They were nice to just kind of remind us after we had that full measure of rest. We have a slur from E to B, right? So since these are quarter notes, we kind of have to practice rolling our first finger because first finger is E and is also B, so we kind of have to like roll or hop very, very like carefully to make sure we keep like we don't break that slur with any extra noises like accidentally playing open A or something like that or any squeaks and squawks. So slur from E to B, remember that's on one bow, a down bow, down to up. On this next beat, 1, 2, up bow, right? Then we have another measure of rest here. Then we repeat the same thing we just did. Down, up, E, B, up bow. Then we have A, G, F sharp, E. And then we end on, it's kind of hard to see, but that is an open D right there. Let's play this slowly together. All right, not too bad so far. Just again, making sure whenever you're playing that, make sure you're playing that as one bow. These is one bow. Slur those together. We're now here at measure 33. So I had to count back and make sure I knew where I was. And hopefully your part, like if you've got your music and you're just following along, looking at that is a little more clear. But if you're using this, this is an open D. This note here is F sharp, and this is A. I know it's kind of faded, but if you look real close, you can see that that's under the line. That's the first space. That's the second space. D, F sharp, A, F sharp. So lots of like stepping, but luckily the only fingered note we have in this measure is F sharp. This is open A or open D, and this is open A. D, F sharp, A, F sharp, and then we have 2 measures of just first finger E. But something, even though it's the same note, something is changing. What's changing here? If you notice that we have a crescendo, it's our dynamic that's changing. We've been mezzo piano this whole time, so every single one of these notes should just be getting a little bit louder, a little bit louder, a little bit louder, a little bit louder, louder until we end on forte at 36, where we have, what are these called again? Think real quick. 2 notes, double stops, right? Open D and open A together. D and A, D and A. Bum, bum. So louder, 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 louder. And this should be real loud because it's a double stop. D and A, D and A. Rest, rest. Easy so far. Let's try and play this together. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, this brings us to the last part of today's lesson. That is measure 37. 37, we've actually kind of done something similar to this in our books when we learned about G major. If you remember, that was whenever we first started talking about C naturals and that kind of stuff in our G string notes. All this is just starting on our open G, going up one finger, one note at a time, our G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Right, look at that again. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Just adding one finger at a time. Until we like get all the way to the top of that G. Then we go back down just one step to F sharp and then open D. So if you're kind of having trouble with this, a really good section to practice, just isolating it by itself, is from this first G here to this last D here. And make sure you're doing it in rhythm. Don't just kind of practice everything the same value. Like, that's not right, because the last 2 are quarter notes and they need to be long. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Rest, rest. Right? Okay, let's double check these last 2 notes here in the third measure. E, first finger. C natural, third finger on the G string, right? E, C, rest, rest. So we had F sharp, D, rest, rest. E, C, rest, rest. Okay, this last measure that we've got with all these eighth notes looks crazy. It really isn't that crazy, especially since half of it is just open strings. So look, our first note here, so just look at it a little bit at a time. If you look at all of this at once, it looks scary. Kind of like if we look at all of this at once, it looks scary. We just see a bunch of eighth notes. A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time, I promise. It's not that hard. First note is open D. Easy, right? The second 3 eighth notes, what are they? Open A. So we're playing open D and then 3 A's. D, A, A, D, A, D, A. Easy, right? 1 and 2 and then what are our last 4 eighth notes? Just F sharp. So we're just playing D, A, followed by 4 F sharps. 3 and 4 and. So all together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Easy, really not too bad. Let's try this slowly. Now, since this is one of the tougher parts of the song, I'm going to be still playing at the same tempo. That was an email. But if you're having trouble with it, remember on YouTube, if you go down and click on the little settings wheel at the bottom of the video, there's that option where you can slow the video playback down to either 0.75 or 0.5. That'll make it slower, and you can practice with me more slowly if you need to. Let's try this together. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, and so once we got that, like I said, we have it's cut off in the scan that I made, but there is a repeat right there. We can barely see those 2 dots. That takes us back to 21. So just looking at a roadmap from the beginning, we play all of this like we've already done. We get to this repeat right there. I kind of highlighted it for you. We go back to the beginning again, play all that. We get to 21. This was what we covered today. We rest, we play all this, play this line, play this line. Then there's a repeat at the end of this measure right here where we finished. It goes back to 21, so we can see that's where the repeat is there. And we play all that again. Okay. If at any point during this, remember you're having a little bit of trouble following along or practicing along with me, don't forget you can always just go back to that section of the video and slow the replay down and play with me like that if you need to, or if you just want to sit there and pizzicato along with me as I'm playing just to get the fingerings down. Take it at your own speed. All right, you've got time. All right, if you have any questions, don't forget, email me, post a comment on either here or the Google Classroom, whatever you need to do. Stop by the Zoom meeting. That's what I'm here for. Because school's still technically in session, so I'm at work. You're not bothering me. Okay? I'll see you guys when I see you, and stay safe.